What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 0 Mile ADV. Today we are talking about the KTM 450 XCF-W. I believe I probably got that wrong. I really don't understand the whole KTM acronym thing when it comes to dirt bikes, mostly because I'm more into adventure bikes, not really into dirt bikes all that much, although they are really fun. I wish I was better at riding them. So if you know what it is, leave a comment below. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. You can hit the like button. You can do all that stuff. Also, don't share it with anybody though, because I like that the channel's a little bit smaller because the comments have been pretty awesome. We do get a few snarky comments, but for the most part, they've been really supportive, answering each other's questions, kind of digging into some of the topics we're talking about, which is really cool. If you go to some of the bigger channels like Dork in the Road, or like probably the best one, Big Rock Moto, and you read his comments, you realize the internet can be a terrible place when the channel gets too big. So let's try to keep this thing small because everybody has been really awesome. But if you do want to leave a terrible comment, by all means, if you want to talk trash about me and that makes you feel better, then go for it. Because honestly, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm one person that I don't really care. And honestly, I enjoy it because if I can make you feel better by making fun of me while you sit behind your keyboard, then go for it, man. Make fun of me. Talk about why you hate that I brought my glasses back and I should be wearing my contacts again. Why I've got this terrible receding hairline, or whatever you want to comment about, or how I don't know anything about motorcycles. Leave those comments below. So with that, let's get into the video. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to do a first initial ride report and impression. If you're not sure, the only other dirt bike that I've owned before this was a Honda 450RL, which I sold over the winter. And actually, I was interested in getting a different bike, but due to some logistic issues, I ended up getting my money back. I'd put a deposit on it and I got my money back. So I ended up with this. So let's talk about how I ended up with this bike. I was just using Facebook Marketplace to see if I could find a bike, and my neighbor actually had built this up and he was selling it. And so I was like, hey, I wasn't really considering the KTM 450. I mean, I was actually kind of considering a whole bunch of stuff. Being that I had a 450 in the Honda, I wasn't sure that I wanted another 450. I was thinking about like a 350 or maybe even a 250, something a little bit smaller that I could push a little bit harder. But my neighbor had built this up. Obviously, he put some really awesome mods on it. I'll do another video all about the modifications to this bike. But yeah, just couldn't pass it up. It was a good deal. Support my neighbor. It was a quick hookup. It just kind of random. We're in the same neighborhood, whatever. And now I have another person that I can ride with. So let's just talk about first ride impressions compared to the Honda. You know, the Honda, my biggest complaint on that bike is just really, really jerky throttle. A lot of people said like, oh, that is just the nature of thumpers or single cylinder dirt bikes. But this bike, the power delivery is really, really good. It has been re-geared. I don't know what the gear ratio is. He told me, but I don't remember. So it has been re-geared, which probably helps because he did talk about how the power delivery before that was like a little bit intense, but re-gearing it made it really good. So it could be the gearing. Probably plays a large part in that because he talked about how it did change it. But with the gearing that is on here, I will find out what it is. I'll leave a comment below. I will edit this to let you know what it is. It rides really smooth. Second gear is pretty much amazing because you can go from like 8 miles an hour up to 30, which that is pretty much my skill set range for riding out here in the dirt, right? 8 miles to 30, pretty comfortable. I can do a lot of that through most of this stuff. So it is kind of like the perfect gearing, and it is pretty smooth. I mean, it is not as smooth as the GS, right? Like the 1300, that power delivery is just so smooth and it's like a tractor. This is definitely a little bit more on and off compared to the GS, but it is nowhere near as bad as the Honda. Moving on to the suspension feel. The suspension feel on this bike, I actually like it better than the Honda. The Showa suspension on it, actually I enjoyed it. I felt like you could push it really hard, but I just wasn't good enough. So that suspension on that bike did feel a bit more motocrossy. It was a lot stiffer. Where what I'm learning is that on trail bikes, it's gonna be a lot softer to kind of give you more compliance. And you can definitely feel that in this suspension. And I do believe that this is the WP Explorer suspension that is on here, but for dirt bikes, similar to like what is on the adventure bikes. But for like a dual sport dirt bike, it is nice. Actually, like I can ride seated through a lot of the rock stuff and feel comfortable. And I just like the feel of it better than the Honda. I also feel that this bike is a little bit more stable. So one complaint that people talked about on the Honda 450 is that, you know, you have to, like Takomoto has a whole video about this on how to make the Honda 450RL a bit more compliant and a little less motocrossy. And one thing they talked about is dropping the forks in the fork tube down to give a little bit better rake in trails, so it's a little bit more raked out, a little bit more stable, right? If you ride mountain bikes, basically not steeper, but a kind of slacker head tube angle. And I feel that this bike definitely has it because it is super stable when you're ripping through the dirt. It also definitely has that like KTM ready to race feel. Like I feel like I just want to go fast, although on the Honda, I also kind of want to just go fast, so maybe it's just a dirt bike thing, and being on such a smaller bike, you're kind of like, I feel like I have to ride really fast, and I have to tell myself to slow down and ride within my limits because I don't want to get in trouble. So, but the suspension has been really amazing. Again, I'm 5'9", 190 pounds, 30-inch inseam, and for whatever the valving is on this, it has been really good for me. I did not change anything on the suspension. I think my neighbor did some sag adjustments in the rear, but I think that's about it. So for me and my weight, it is pretty perfect. So far, I've really, really enjoyed it. But a quick break, if you don't know, I've been working really hard to build a motorcycle apparel company called 0 Mile AV. I am currently wearing, tripping over my own feet here. I am wearing our Garfield flannel work shirt, full Kevlar back, Dyneema in the elbows, in the shoulders, in the upper back, not only for styling, but also for protection, so if you hit the ground. We also have Dyneema reinforced buttons here, so if you do hit the ground, the buttons won't just rip out, but then you don't have to wear a zipper like some other flannels. It might as well just be a jacket. It actually fits like a flannel. This one, you could probably wear to dinner. You know, after you go camping, you go for a big ride, then you want to go to dinner. Hopefully you could put this on, wear this in, still look good. I'm wearing our In the Boot denim. We have a stretchy, breathable crotch in the center, built-in flexible waistband. These black denim pants actually come with a little extra protection, so they come with Kevlar in the knees and in the seat for extra slide protection should you hit the ground. If you're interested in just a single layer CEAA rated slide protection pant, check out our blue denim that is just single layer. Man, I am on the struggle bus today. Go to 0mileav.com. Download our free BDR packing checklist. I used it to pack for I actually used it to pack for a New Mexico BDR. So you get something for free. That'll also get you on the list for when everything comes out. So if you're interested in being a first edition member of 0 Mile and getting in on the first production run, that's the best way to do it because you'll be the first ones to be notified. We have a very limited run. Going to throw in a lot of other free goodies for everybody there, some lifetime guest counts, all of that other stuff. So with that, let's get back to the video. Okay, and so a couple other things that I could have done on the Honda that are different on this, and it's probably one thing, it's just the tire setup that I could have done on the Honda, but I really, really like because it just gives me a better peace of mind. And that is the tire setup. So in the back, it has something called tubeless, which is basically a 3-layer system. I had never heard of it before. Not tubeless, but tubeless with a B. Definitely check that out. And then in the front, he has a moose, which is like that tire insert, which basically means you don't have to worry about running air pressure. And then in the back, you do still run, right now I think I'm running 7 pounds of air pressure in the back tire, but you don't really have to worry about flatting, which was always a big concern for me. So that is awesome. It just gives me peace of mind when I'm out here in BLM by myself riding. I don't have to worry about getting flats, which is awesome. Of course, the rally tower, all that stuff is super cool. So far, I'm really enjoying the bike. It is super cool. I will do another video on all the modifications and everything else I like about it. But so far, I definitely think that this bike, it's a 24, so it is a couple years newer than my Honda. For the type of riding that I like to do, 50-inch, some more mellow single track, this bike definitely fits the bill way better than the Honda. It is also lighter than the Honda. I think this bike is about 250 pounds. I think the Honda is close to 300 pounds or maybe just over that. And so you can definitely feel the weight difference. But so far, this bike has been really awesome as like kind of a dual sport. And I was thinking about going lighter, but realizing what you could get in a 450 and have the power, because one final note on that is actually this thing isn't too bad on the highway. So at 60 miles an hour around town, trying to commute out to the trails, it is not bad at all. It is pretty comfortable. I rode the Honda, feels pretty similar, to be honest with you. So with that, that's kind of everything in the first ride report that I like, that I have noticed. I will do another video on all the mods and everything else, and of course some more videos. So with that, until next time, stay safe out there.